There is a quiet place most of us live in. It feels safe. It feels familiar. It feels warm, predictable, and manageable. It asks very little of us, and in return, it promises protection from failure, embarrassment, rejection, and pain. We call this place our comfort zone, and it is costing us everything, not all at once, not loudly, not in a way that sets off alarms. It costs us slowly, subtly, and politely. It costs us in the form of unlived days, unused talents, muted dreams, and versions of ourselves we never meet. It costs us the future we could have had. The comfort zone does not attack you. It doesn't threaten you. It doesn't tell you to give up. It simply whispers, "You're fine right where you are." And that whisper is more dangerous than any shout. Because deep down, you already know the truth. You know there is more in you. You feel it in the moments of quiet dissatisfaction, in the ache that shows up when you see someone else doing what you once dreamed of, in the frustration that surfaces when you realize you are busy, but not fulfilled, safe, but not alive. That feeling is not ingratitude. It is not arrogance. It is not weakness. It is your potential calling you. The comfort zone is not evil. It exists for a reason. It is where routines are formed, where skills are stabilized, where healing can happen. But what begins as protection can quietly become a prison. A prison with soft walls. Inside it, you know how things work. You know what is expected of you. You know how to survive. But survival is not the same as growth, and familiarity is not the same as purpose. The comfort zone trades growth for certainty. It says, don't risk failing. But it never asks, what if you succeed? It says, at least this is stable. But it never asks, at what cost? It says, you can always try later. But it never tells you that later is not guaranteed. Most people don't stay stuck because they are incapable. They stay stuck because the discomfort of change feels scarier than the pain of staying the same. And so they settle. They settle into jobs that drain them. They settle into relationships that shrink them. They settle into routines that numb them. They settle into identities that no longer fit. Not because they lack courage, but because courage is a muscle they were never taught to train. When you think of fear, you might imagine panic or terror, but fear is far more sophisticated than that. Fear disguises itself as logic. It says, be realistic. It says, now isn't the right time. It says, other people have it worse. It says, you don't want to seem selfish. It says, you're not ready yet. And the most dangerous lie it tells is this: who do you think you are? Fear does not want you to fail, but even more than that, fear does not want you to change, because change requires you to step into the unknown, and the unknown cannot be controlled. So fear keeps you busy, busy planning, busy preparing, busy waiting, busy enough to feel productive, too busy to actually move. But here is the truth. You will never feel fully ready. Read that again. You will never feel fully ready. Confidence is not the prerequisite for action. Action is the prerequisite for confidence. Every person you admire was once unqualified, uncertain, and afraid. The difference is not that they lacked fear. It is that they refused to let fear make their decisions for them. Potential is not a warm feeling. Potential is demanding. It is inconvenient. It disrupts your routine. It challenges your identity. It asks you to risk being bad at something before you are good at it. Your potential will ask you to let go of who you have been in order to become who you could be. And that is terrifying, because growth requires loss. You may lose approval. You may lose certainty. You may lose familiarity. You may even lose people who only knew how to love the version of you that stayed small. But what you gain is alignment. You gain integrity with yourself. You gain momentum. You gain a sense of meaning that comfort can never provide. The tragedy is not that you will fail. The tragedy is that you will never try, that you will reach the end of your life and realize you lived safely instead of fully. One of the most paralyzing thoughts is the belief that it is too late to start, too late to change, too late to learn, too late to become. This belief has stopped more dreams than lack of talent ever could. But the truth is this: you are not late, you are alive. As long as you are breathing, your story is still being written. The only deadline that matters is the one you refuse to move past. Growth does not belong to the young. Purpose does not belong to the lucky. Reinvention does not belong to the fearless. It belongs to the willing. Every day you wake up, you are given a choice: repeat yesterday or take one step toward tomorrow. You don't have to blow up your life overnight. You don't have to have the whole plan. You don't have to be certain of the outcome. You just have to be brave enough to take the next uncomfortable step. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. The comfort zone thrives on all or nothing thinking. If I can't do it perfectly, why start? If I can't change everything, why change anything? But transformation is built in increments. One conversation you've been avoiding. One habit you've been postponing. One skill you start practicing badly. One boundary you finally set. One honest decision you make for yourself. These steps feel insignificant in the moment. They are not. They compound. And one day, you look back and realize you are standing in a life that once felt impossible. Comfort asks, how can I avoid pain? Meaning asks, what is worth the pain? Every life of depth, contribution, and fulfillment has been built on the willingness to endure discomfort in service of something greater. Not reckless suffering, not unnecessary struggle, but intentional discomfort, the discomfort of learning, the discomfort of honesty, the discomfort of responsibility, the discomfort of growth. A meaningful life does not promise ease. It promises direction, and direction gives pain a purpose. Your comfort zone doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone who could have been helped by your courage. Everyone who could have been inspired by your effort. Everyone who could have been changed by your work, your voice, your example. When you play small, the world gets less creativity, less leadership, less compassion, less innovation. You do not need to be extraordinary to make an impact. You need to be honest. You need to be willing. You need to show up. Your story, your struggle, your growth, these matter more than you think. At the end of the day, you will face one of two pains: the pain of discomfort or the pain of regret. Discomfort is temporary. Regret can last a lifetime. The question is not whether you will be afraid. You will be. The question is whether you will let fear decide the shape of your life. Step out, not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, but because staying where you are is quietly costing you who you could become. Your comfort zone is familiar, but your potential is calling. And it will not stop. The only question left is this: will you answer